Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. Thank you for bearing with us in our technical issues, I guess. I don't know. But good morning.
I think it's good for you to see the technical issues, as it means you don't have to be perfect either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, in today's show, Christy and I are going to give you some tips on how to leverage your current income into multiple streams of income. This one, you're going to hear a lot from Christy because I am learning from her.
And I'm always learning too. But yeah, we've been doing multiple streams of income from multiple sources, right? For a long time. And it's really protected, my team's money in times of, I don't know what to say about it, but sometimes we have income streams that go away.
Right.
So, or they don't produce what they used to, right? Because things change and people's taste change and what they're interested in change. So, we've always created multiple streams of income. But the biggest thing is that we have seen over the years is people think that get this thing in their head that their current situation is not allowing them to get started doing something, new or getting that side hustle going. So what I want to talk about today is a lot of what is your current situation, giving you some strategies for, expanding your vision a little bit, but also some practical stuff. And this is recorded. So if you want to catch our recordings or get reminded to see our recordings, you can go to pipsforbrunch.com and subscribe to our newsletter. We send out tips and other strategies there, as well as just remind you that, hey, we've got the replay up here on the Facebook page, right? But there's a book that I'm trying to remember the name of the book, but it says, start with what you've got and then be unstoppable, right? So start with what you have. Where and then it's like where you is where you is, which is not correct grammar, but that's what you're starting to think about. I am here, that's fine, right? If you've gone and done some things and now you're back to square one, that's fine. If you've never done anything in the home business industry before, that's fine. You start with where you are, and then you want to just be unstoppable. But if you want to start creating something, whether it's a side hustle or a small business on the side, it's going to take two things: time and money. There's an investment. It's time and it's money, right? So when you look at your situation, if you're short on, having some extra cash to get something going, more time is going to be needed than money. You got to balance that out, right? Maybe you don't have, like Christina talked about this yesterday, right? People will pay you for your time. So she's, creating things, and it didn't cost her a lot of money. It's a few dollars for some supplies, but she invested her time, right?
Yep.
So if you're short on extra cash, understand that more time than money is going to be needed in, getting your side hustle going. If you have a good amount of money and you're like, well, that sounds like a great problem to have, right? But what happens a lot of times with people who've come to us to help them put plans together is they already have a six-figure income sometimes, but they create that six-figure income at a job or a business they own that gives them very little time to do anything started. The beauty of that is that you can then use your money to automate more things or pay somebody else to get them done for you. So again, it's still a situation where you can get started. If you have an abundance of both, right? Well, awesome. You've got some money and you got some time. That's cool, right? You're going to leverage both of them to the max. But the one situation, and if you've been following me for years, I've said this over and over again. If you say to me, I have no time and no money, you got no side hustle. You got no business on the side. No extra cash is going to come your way. And the reality is you don't really have a lack of time and money. You have a lack of creativity and you have a lack of ideas. That's really what it comes down to. So when you're getting something going, I'll just give you some tips. And this might seem like, I don't really want to do this.
Can we give them some examples?
Sure. Like with different things that you could do.
Well, so I have an example for great amounts of time, extremely low amounts of money.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the example that I used yesterday. I still do it today, right? But I sell paper book wreaths. I go to the dollar store and I spend $1 on a book. And then I create a wreath and I sell the wreath for $20. It might take me 2 hours to do, but as soon as I sell the first one, I use that material or that money to go back and get more materials so that I now have the income coming in to support and keep going. It goes and it grows and it grows and it grows. So that's my example of lots of time with something that I do very well that people will pay for, but not a lot of money, right? And that's one of the starting points for you. If you have something that you do very well, that takes a little bit of time, but is inexpensive to create. If you sew, if you knit, if you make quilts, right? Everybody's having babies. They always need those baby quilts and things that are personalized, right? They always want something that's personalized for the baby. Do that, right? So that's my example of somebody who has a lot of time, but not a lot of money. Think about that. $1 turns into $20, which then is reinvested into the business.
Yeah. And another thing you can do is you can be a freelance marketer. That means that you're just driving traffic or sending referrals over to other people's products. So you don't have to take the time to create the products yourselves. Information products are great. People will pay good money for information. I pay good money for information. I was just having this conversation with my husband yesterday. If I can time hack with money, I do it. I've spent $10,000 on an information product before. I've spent $10,000 on coaching. Why? Because time is not replenishable, right? But money is. You're like, oh, yes, money is. If you have a paycheck every Friday, you're going to get another batch of money, but your time you can never get back. So people will pay good money for good information. And there are information products out there. There are also physical products that are already done that you can drive traffic to, whether it's word of mouth. And you can do that kind of thing with a little bit of money or a lot of money, right? So if you have a shortage of cash, right, but you have more time, then you can learn all the different things you can do, say on social media and things like that. If you have a good amount of money, you can run paid ads to other people's products, and then you get whatever, the products you make the money off of minus whatever you paid for the ad is your profit. And you don't even have to ship the products. You don't have to make the products. You don't have to give customer service for majority of those products, because that company or that person is just paying you for that referral, and they're taking care of all that stuff on the back end. So that's another thing that actually falls into a couple of different categories. Obviously, if you have an abundance of both, that opens up a lot of options.
Right.
I mean, just like a lot of options, if you will. But again, if you're stuck and you're thinking, I don't have any time or any money, that's one thing. It's like, I always tell you, don't even come to me. You have to change your mindset first. But we have some very simple exercises for you to figure out what exactly is that, because I'll have people say, well, I don't really have any money to start a business. And then I find out they've got an extra $1,000 a month. They just think that's not enough, right, to start a business. Where someone else will say, I don't really have any time, but they do. They'll say, well, I only have like 15 hours a week. Perfect. What happens for most people is they don't know specifically how much money they have. They think they have an idea, but they don't really know. And they don't really know exactly how many hours. So say how many hours a week. This is the answer I get a lot. Well, I have a lot of time. That tells me nothing about helping you with your schedule.
Right.
I don't know what that means. Right. Like
what's your definition of a lot?
Right. I have a lot of time. I have more time than money is also not an answer that's useful or helpful in any way. And creating a plan for your, side business or side hustle or to get extra cash. So I'm just going to give you something really simple to do. You get out a notebook or a piece of paper and you write down, first of all, think about your household. And this is for private use. You don't have to share this with, your mentor, your coach, or me, or Chrissy, anybody. It's for your private use to write down every single thing that you have as a monthly expense, down to laundry detergent, down to your gym membership, to everything. And then like everything that's absolutely necessary. And then also write down in a different column things that you spend money on that aren't necessarily a need, right? And I don't mean like internet. We kind of all need internet these days. It's just kind of how the world flows. But if you're spending $20 a week at Starbucks, write that stuff down and be honest. Just write it all down. Then if you're already in the entrepreneurial home business space, I also want you to write down things that you spend money on already for maybe marketing tools, and each of those tools, and just write it all down. That's all we're doing at this point. You're going to total it all up. You're going to take a look, and then you're going to take a look and see if there's anything you can eliminate. Success comes in elimination, not addition. Okay. Yep. So it's like, what can you eliminate that you're spending money on that isn't absolutely something crucial right now? It might be that you're spending too much money out to eat. It could be that you're spending too much money when it comes to getting coffee in the morning. Can you bring your own coffee?
$7.99 that you spend on the subscription and nobody else in the house watches but you.
Right.
You might want to give it for a month or two.
Right. A couple of extra, because everything's a la carte these days, right? Netflix, right. You got Netflix, Hulu, CBS, All Access, whatever. It's like, do you really need all those things? Because if you can just start freeing up 10 extra dollars a month, 20, 50, 100, that's going to give you that capital that you need. Now, if you're already in this space, take a look at those tools you're paying for and seeing if any of them are not serving you. Now, what I don't mean is like, I just started this thing, I've been using it for 2 weeks, I don't think it works. That's never long enough to figure out if something's working for you.
Right.
But if you've been paying for something for a while and either A, you're not using it, or B, you have used it, it is literally not creating income for you or helping you in any way, then it's time to get rid of it. It's time to eliminate it. And then you can free up some cash that way as well. So that's step one. That's the money part. The money part is actually only about 10% of importance.
Yep.
The other part of it is time. And that's the other 90%. That is more important, not only the time that you invest, but what you do during that time. So same exercise. What are the hours? Be realistic and be true, and don't scam yourself, right? There's all these scams on the internet. We actually scam ourselves more than anybody else scams us.
Right.
So when you go through and look at like what you're going to do for time, what is realistic? Meaning if you say I've got 2 hours a day, when are those 2 hours?
Right.
Right. And then when you look at it, would you actually use the 2 hours? Or are you scamming yourself? And because you're saying, well, I have those 2 hours, but I probably wouldn't use them. Be realistic with yourself so that you can write out, these are the hours a week that I have every, Monday through Friday. When I first started, I still had a job. So we're going way back, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I would do stuff during my lunch break. I would make a phone call during my lunch break. I would do things like even I had a job for a while where we didn't have customers come in sometimes for hours, like during a Green Bay Packer game. Nobody comes to the mall, right? So I would take time to work on things, my goals and things like that during that time, or if there's anything I could do in my business. So sometimes you have to use the nooks and crannies of your day to get extra stuff done, so you can get that extra stuff done. But be realistic with yourself. Then you can come to us and say, hey, Christy, right? I have $150 a month to do my business, to get a side hustle going. And I have 15 hours a week. I can do 2 hours a week, Monday through Thursday. I don't have any time on Friday. I have 7 hours on Saturday. Now we have something we can work with. Because it's actually a plan, and you actually said, okay, I do have some time and money. This is the specifics.
And do us a favor though. When you come to us with this time, set alerts in your phone, like set alarms to hold yourself accountable for saying, I took the time out to find the times when I'm going to be available, to say that this is when I'm going to work on my business, and then hold yourself accountable. Set those alarms that remind you, this is my 15 minutes to get XYZ done. That is going to be so helpful for you in the long run and create that consistency in your business that you need.
And if you've been in this industry before, you may have some spouses, partners, family members who get upset because you're always seem to be working on the business. So 2 things. You need to schedule your personal time with as much importance as you schedule time for your job, and also time for your family, or not your family, but your side thing that you're doing. Okay. It needs to be just as important. So when it's time, if you're going to work from 6 to 8 at night, and then 8 to 9 is for your family, you need to set the alarm to get started and set the alarm to stop.
Yep.
And walk away, so that you are not alienating people in your family as you're building this business. or whatever, not this business. We're not talking about anything specific right now, guys. I'm
Right.
just giving you like the tools that you need to get started. And when we're talking about leveraging your current situation, you don't have to have a ton of extra time or a ton of extra money, but you need to have some time and some money. Mm-hmm. And you also, like when you sit down, like what Christine is talking about, your alarm has come on. It's time to get to work. Wasted time reading newsletters, even hours. I know. I'm like, what? Our newsletter or checking that non-business email or, that kind of stuff. It doesn't count. It needs to be income producing activities. If you're creating things, physical products like Christina's talking about, then you're taking the time to actually work on those products. Or you're taking the time to do whatever marketing you have to do for those products, phone calls or whatever. The actual IPAs, the actual income producing activities.
And don't feel bad if you don't get things completed in that chunk of time that you set. I have a notepad that I leave on my desk and I write down where I left off at so that when I get back to that activity, I can pick it up there. So don't feel bad if you don't get things completed because this is the time that you schedule. As things go on, you're going to create more time and things like that. But for now, make sure that you are setting those alarms and just do as much as you can in that time frame that you set so that you can feel accomplished at the end of that time frame.
Right. So are you clear? My guess is that most of you are listening are not clear yet right now. Maybe you're not clear on what you want to do. You don't even have to decide yet what it is you want to do, because based on what your time and money is, you may have a different choice than somebody else who has a different situation. Yep. Get your budget together of time and money, and then find yourself a coach. I have a coach for trading. Christina does too. I have a coach and I paid for it. I pay them handsomely. I pay for that. I have a coach for marketing, right? I have a coach for mindset. Find somebody who is already where you want to be and is doing the things that you want to do, and then learn from them, be open-minded and stuff. But I know like in trading, Kurt, our mentor, if you come to him and you say, we're going to talk just trading for a second, but it's nothing to do with the trading itself. But if you come to him and you say, I don't know why I'm not doing well, I'm losing money trading all the time. And he'll say, well, let me see your trading journal.
Right.
Oh, I don't have a trading journal. Can't help
Problem
you.
Number one.
Right. Yeah, I can't help you because I can't look at your journal, because he's told us you need to keep a trading journal. If we don't follow the directions, you can't help us, right? How can you help us if we're not doing what we were told? So step one, just make it easy. Put that budget together. It's not even a budget really at first. It's just listing everything you can think of. I had to do this. I had a relationship I was in when the kids were pretty little. I'm trying to think how old they were, 2nd and 5th grade or something like that. And I needed to get out of that relationship. And we were sharing household expenses. So my mentor at the time said, how much money do you need basically to kick him out? Right. So it's like, okay, I need this much. And he's like, okay, write down. And he had me do that. Write down everything that you like. First, he just had me write down everything that I needed to kick him out. Right. Well, we got to pay for this. And then like laundry soap, things like that. I also had a situation where we were helping somebody with a budget. She came to us. We had her do this exercise. Right. And she was all set. We gave her a plan. Here's the tools you can be using. Here's what we'll do with the time. And it was all good. And she panicked and she came, she's like, I forgot my gym membership. I'm paying for my gym membership. That's why, number one, it's important to write down everything. But 2, free up enough money that extra $20 for the membership is not going to freak you out.
And it didn't seem like she was using the gym membership if she forgot.
Right.
And don't be afraid to do this repeatedly. I try to do it every quarter because as the business grows, sometimes the business gets more expensive because we're paying for more marketing stuff. Sometimes some of the marketing stuff that we were paying for 3 months ago, we're no longer using because we found something better. Sometimes it's like in the summertime when Kevin is at home more, then the subscriptions for TV go up a little bit. Like I add on Disney Plus. Right. But we don't have that during the school year. So get in the habit of being okay with taking these assessments for what you're doing. because you don't realize sometimes that things change because the seasons change.
And I'll let you know a little dirty little secret that other marketers would be upset for me sharing, but I feel like, we should always be honest and transparent. Right. Subscriptions, whether it's TV, marketing stuff, whatever that costs $30 and under, they know that, and I have products that cost $30 and under, right? Christina has products that cost $30 and under. They know that that's that price point where you're like, I'm not using it, but I might, and I don't want to cancel it yet. Right. So that's why it's priced at that point. Once you get to around $50, people start, I'm not using it. I'm going to cancel it. But $30 and under, they know that you're more likely to continue to pay that whether you're using it or not. So think about some of those little things because they can add up. We once helped a guy who had like $800 a month in stuff he was paying for. And he got in the habit of, now this is so extreme. He cancels his credit card every 6 months to make sure he's canceled everything he does. And then he goes back in and resubscribes to things that he knows he's using because he doesn't trust himself.
So yeah, because of the thing that happened with T-Mobile recently,
yes,
I was excited because I had to order new cards for every single card that I have. And I was excited because I was like, as soon as something that I use gets cut off, I'll resubscribe to it if I'm using it. And then the things that I'm not using are going to get cut off and I'm not going to notice it.
Right.
So like, I'm happy for that. Like, it's really weird, but I'm kind of excited.
Right. You turn that negative experience into a plus for yourself. Like, right. Here's the good side of what just happened with my security. My identity has been breached, but here's the plus.
Right.
But no, it's important, guys, to figure out like what is your current situation, and whatever it is, it is. It is. It's fine. It's good. I don't care how many times you started over. I don't care if you're, living off minimum wage. I don't care if you divorced, if you're a single mom, if whatever, it is what it is. And it's your unique situation. But yeah, if you want to get a little, even if you want to just make an extra $500 a month, you still got to put a plan together.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my 2 cents for today.
Like, at the end of the day, we just want you to understand, no matter what direction you're coming from, no matter where your starting point is that there is a starting point for everybody. Because if I can start a business with $1 and a little bit of time, you can start a business with $1 and a little bit of time. And what I really want people to understand is, if you are in a situation where starting a business because you already have a skill that is a lot more hands-on than something that you would just sell online, right? It takes a lot of your time. Be okay with that, but take into consideration the fact that some of the subscriptions that you have, like Netflix, right? Like Disney Plus, like Amazon Prime, they might need to be cut off for a few months so that you can use that extra money to put into your business so that you can start to get on that financial path that you want to be on, right? So at the end of the day, please understand that sacrifices in the very beginning are necessary, right? And we're not saying like get rid of everything, but you kind of got to choose. When you write down that list of everything, you might see every time, for me personally, every time I go to the gas station, I buy 5 turtles. I love turtles, but I don't need to buy 5 every time I go, but I do, right? So when I was looking at my, because I track my gas bills, because I scan them. When I was looking at the bills, I was like, dang, over the past couple months, it started increasing. But the amount of, and I get the price of gas went up, but it increased by a lot. And I was like, oh, I'm buying more turtles, right? So I cut down like my turtles. So now I'm down to 2 turtles because I don't really need them. But just little things like that you might not be paying attention to, that you should pay attention to, right? Instead of buying the pre-made pasta deals, when you go to the grocery store, buy pasta and sauce. Pasta is $1 a box. Sauce is $1 or $2 a can. Even with inflation, it's still pretty low, right? So think about little things like that where you can start to balance out the budget to create the income that you need to get things going. And if you have that gym membership, but you don't go, you got some time right there, because usually you schedule out like an hour for your gym time, right? Just about an hour. You ain't using that hour. Use it to do something that's income producing. right? Start putting together some how-to content because people will pay you to show them how to do something that they don't know how to do, right? So if you have a skill, start to think about what that skill can do to produce income for you. And if you don't have a skill, but you want to produce income, start to look, and we'll be giving out more hints and tips of things to look into, but start to look into things that you don't need a skill for. You just need a little extra money, because that'll help you balance it out too.
And those TV subscriptions, like canceling them, it's like two birds, one stone. More
Right.
time, a little more money, right?
Exactly. You have a show that you watch, it comes out every week, it's 30 minutes. No, you need to be doing some income producing for that 30 minutes and cut it off. Okay.
That's the beauty of technology these days. That show is going to be there next month, next year. It's never going to be a time where you can't watch that show later.
And you can binge watch it later. You like, we don't turn on the TV in my house during the week. It doesn't come on. Our TV time is during the weekend. That is our reward for doing things that needed to be done during the week. Kevin gets all his homework done. I get a ton of social media stuff done, and just calls and things like that for the different teams that we're on. And on the weekend, my team knows, like Saturday night, me and my son are typically on the couch together with a gigantic bowl of popcorn. So this is our reward time. Don't bother us. And that's okay. Give yourself a reward or an incentive to move towards, and try to stick with it though. And make it something like, for a lot of people say like no TV during the week is drastic. It's not really. Like anything that I need to know in the news, I watch on my phone really quick. It's a couple minutes, as opposed to sitting there and diving down a rabbit hole for 2 hours, right? But start to give yourself incentives that make sense for your lifestyle, because it might not be taking out TV. It might be for those bakers out there that are baking but not selling those baked goods. It might be taking the extra time to bake. That takes hours, right? So maybe you do that on the weekends. Or maybe, like for me, I enjoy cooking. Instead of doing some of the stuff that I would normally do during the week, I do 30-minute meals during the week, but I do all my prep on the weekend to free up my time during the week. So it's a lot of different things that you could do just to rearrange your schedule to give you more time to dedicate to your business. It depends on what your lifestyle is right now. And once you start writing everything out, you can start to see where you can move those little puzzle pieces around to.
Yeah, if you've got a favorite show or a favorite activity, whatever it is, could not necessarily, they do call it the boob tube for a reason, right?
Right.
But if you make it that it's a reward for you getting your task done for the day, like that 140-minute show that you watch, that you can't watch it unless you've done what you said, and then you're rewarding yourself because it's your absolute favorite show or whatever, right, or activity of other things that you want to do. So today, we talked about putting this budget of time and money together so that you know what resources you have. This is really like a resource checklist. What are your resources? And those are the two things that it takes, time and money. And we can get into other things like mindset and attitude and things like that. But when it comes down to it, these are those two resources that you need to put in. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to talk about, income goals, because, a lot of people's income goals are a bit fuzzy. And we have short-term and we have long-term things that we want to be working on, and what's the difference and all that. So tomorrow we'll be talking about that.
Awesome. So we are going to wrap up things today. Listen, I hope you guys are enjoying our podcast. We are going to be here every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same place, same time. If this is at a time where you're running out the door trying to listen to us, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on our social media so that you can stay in touch with us and get more of the hints and tips that we'll be dropping over the coming months. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. We will see you in the next recording.
See you tomorrow. Bye.